Welcome to Conversations with Celena, the podcast where we discover inspiration, motivation, and information to help you live your best life. I'm your host, Celena, aka Sunshine, and each week we'll dive into conversations with guests who share their testimonies, insights, and advice. We'll explore topics that uplift, encourage, and empower you to be the best version of yourself you can be. So tune in and let's have some fun while we explore all that life has to offer. Keep it smiling, sunshine, and let's go. Hey, sunshine. Hey. Welcome back to another episode of Conversations with Celena. If this is your first time, welcome. And if you're returning, thank you so much for your continuous support. So listen, if this is your first time, you are live on Conversations with Celena. I'm your smiling host, Sunshine, and I'm super excited about today's guest. Y'all like, Sunshine, you always say this, baby. This is a whole different story. This is a whole different kind of special, right? This is a different type of excitement. When I talked to this young lady yesterday, I was like, girl, how can we connect? What do I need to do? Because her story is going to inspire you, because it inspired me. And if it doesn't inspire you, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to say. Check your pulse. Check your pulse, baby. Okay. All right. So let me see. Do I have any announcements before we jump into this episode? Y'all know that be sure to sign up for Jalicia's Empowerment Brunch. It is femininity, brunch, and care. That is going to be next weekend. It's starting Friday night and Saturday. Friday is free. Saturday is a paid event. So be sure to go over and check out Jalicia Richard. And then also next month is not only my birthday, but it is also Conversation with Celena's 6-year anniversary. So we're going to be in New Orleans having an intimate celebration and also a mini session of I Owe Her. So that is going to be open soon. I know I said that already, but for real, it's going to be open soon, probably tonight. I had a couple changes to make, and so it should be open later tonight. But I will make an announcement when it comes to that. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to jump right on into today's episode. And I have an author, an entrepreneur, and a journalpreneur. That's a new word for me, girl. She is the founder of the Anxiety Journal Company, the author of the Pink Anxiety Journal, and she's used her personal stories and framework to generate over 500,000 in sales organically. And now, can anybody say now? Now she teaches others how to do the same, how to build their journal empires. So I want you all to welcome to the stage the beautiful, talented, smart Miss Kiara Bennett.
Hey, what a beautiful introduction. Okay.
Look at here.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. I am just more than honored.
Girl, I'm so excited. Let me tell you what, when I talked to you yesterday and you was just telling me like how you turn this pain into purpose, into prosperity.
Yes.
So it's like, oh my goodness gracious. Like we all need this framework because we all have stories and everyone, it looks a little bit different, but trauma nonetheless, pain nonetheless. And most people, I don't even know. I don't want to use most or anything like that, but I know that there are people, I'll say it like that, who want to just kind of stay in their own little space. And then there's other people who are like, I want to get out. I want to tell people everything that I've been through and how I overcame it and what they can do. So I admire you for taking something so personal and bringing it publicly.
It definitely took a lot of courage to do so, because you do worry about scrutiny and people judging you, and then people having an inside view on your life when you've been, looking like you've been holding it together the whole time. So it definitely took a lot of courage, but it was the best decision I have ever made.
I love that. But you don't know in the beginning, is this the right thing for me to do?
Right.
What are people going to say? Is it going to be successful? Am I
Right.
going to be embarrassed? Am I going to embarrass my family? You know, you have all of these emotions and thoughts and fears, but baby, when you come out on the other side,
Yes.
I know this was nothing but God. Thank you for
Yes.
obedience. And that's
Yes.
when people get stuck. It's like in between the fear and the obedience. Like,
Yes.
am I really doing what God wants me to do, or am I doing what I just feel like I want to do? And it's like, I don't
Right.
want to go tell this mess. I could stay over here in the bed, in the corner, curled up in this position,
Right.
because I really don't want everybody to know. You know, it's not something that I'm happy that I went through, but since I went through it, I don't want that pain to be in vain. So,
Right. Absolutely. Exactly. Yep. Yep.
girl, look, as soon as my live start, I get super excited. So I'm gonna come on back a little bit and I'm gonna say, listen, tell us a little bit how you got started.
Oh goodness. To make a long story short, just like you stated, all of us go through something that is probably painful or traumatizing. So I'm no different. One of my favorite sayings is like, who are you? Like, you're not exempt from life, right? And so, long story short, I was in a toxic relationship for almost a decade. And somewhere around year 6, I ended up in a mental institution for 3 days. And I had pretty much just lost it. I was at my wit's end. If you know anything about being in a relationship with a narcissistic individual, it is not a regular toxic relationship. They do a lot of mind things here. And so I ended up in a mental institution for 3 days. And on the third day, you have to see the psychiatrist before you are allowed to be released, or if they decide that you stay. And so on that third day, I'm talking to her. She had me do a mini test. She looks over everything and she says, "Hey, Kiara, I am not seeing on paper why you are in this establishment. So could you tell me a little bit about the things that you have endured recently?" And so from there, I started naturally with my childhood, and then I kind of climbed up to my current relationship at the time, telling her some of the things that I had experienced. And she just looks at me and says, "Hey, I cannot diagnose someone who is not in front of me. But when you get home, because I am going to release you, I want you to look up the term narcissist and narcissism." Now, I did not go straight home. Although she released me, I actually went to jail from there. That's a whole nother story, but it was a crazy situation. But when I was released from jail, as soon as I got my cell phone, I researched those terms. And the more I researched them, I realized I've been living a textbook situation, being in a relationship with a narcissist. And so from there, I just started to continue to educate myself. And then over time, I was able to successfully lead the relationship. And once I had done that, I decided that I wanted to take that part of my life and create a journal product from it to help liberate other women the way that I liberated myself. And that's exactly how we got here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that little journal part, I didn't know that yesterday, but definitely I was just like, oh my goodness. And so many people are in those types of relationships and they don't even realize that that's what they're being manipulated, because they switch everything. It's like, wait a minute.
Oh yeah.
You're in the hot seat, but now somehow you've reversed this. Like,
yeah,
I'm the one that's at fault and not you, because you're not taking that type of accountability.
It's a constant cycle of love bombing, devaluing, discarding. You go through that cycle multiple times, despite what most people think, because they're like, "Why don't you just leave?" It is a constant cycle. By the time you're ready to leave, they hit you with the love bombing again. So it was a complete mess. Probably one of the most traumatizing situations I've ever been in, but I am so resilient. I was like, I'm not going to just be going through all that. We got to turn this into something. And that takes a level of strength. But I ultimately, that was the decision I made. And it was the best decision I've ever made.
So how long did it take you to get out of? Like, how long were you in this relationship, and did you go back and forth, or was it just a clean cut, or what happened?
Oh goodness, I probably have never even shared this, but over time, after all of it was said and done, it was 9 years total. And we went back and forth. We actually got married and then we got divorced and then we got back together. It was a complete roller coaster.
Wow.
There were moments where he dates someone else and then I date someone else and then we'd find ourselves right back together. I mean, if you can think of an amusement park, it was that. It was completely that. And 9 years, it was 9 years and some change, and something I have no idea why I made a decision at some point I could not do year 10. And I used to repeat that to myself every single day. Kiara, you cannot be in this situation for 10 years. You cannot make this 10 years. And that was just the time where I was like, this is it. I actually woke up one morning. Actually, it was before we went to bed. We were laying on one side of the bed together. And out of nowhere, I said, hey, you're going to have to be gone by 7 o'clock in the morning. And the next day he was gone at 6:45. He didn't put up a fight. I knew God was like with me at that point, because when I would try to leave before, it was always fights and etc. But I said, you got to be gone by 7 o'clock in the morning. He was out of there by 6:45. And I haven't seen him since.
Girl, you were standing on business.
Business.
You said, I will not find myself in this year 10. And words are so powerful.
Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
meant what you said.
I wasn't having it. He took his little PlayStation and his little book bag, honey, and
Look, he didn't even have a lot left over there.
I was already like, Yeah, and that was it. I have not seen him since. He has, of course, tries to call, because that's what narcissistic individuals do. They like to hover and see if you're really done and if they have a piece, if they can get back in. But when I tell you stood on business, every time I heard a new number and I knew it was his voice, he'll be like, don't hang up, click. We got nothing to talk about.
Not him going and trying to call from a different number, like a burner number.
Yes, ma'am. But I was done. When someone robs you mentally and they hold that healthy mind space from you for years, once you start to get yourself back, you're not negotiating anymore. Like, that's the biggest thing you can lose is yourself. And once I started to get her back, I was like, I'm holding her tight, and anybody who wants to rob her from me again, I'm not having it. So yeah, that was it.
And let me say, anybody means anybody.
Anybody. Yep, absolutely.
You just got to separate yourself. And when you see, because a lot of people do the same type of things. It's not just the men. You have those same type of women that's in your life too, that try to control and try to manipulate and try to hold on just to see, let me see if I could still call her whenever I need her and all of that type of stuff. Girl, I've been putting my phone like on I guess silent or focus, where it says do not disturb, and try not to even pick it up first thing in the morning. People at my work was checking on me the other day when they saw my blood pressure and stuff was high. Girl, I didn't even know till like hours later that they're like, are you okay?
Oh my gosh. But you're getting used to establishing your own space and peace. And so I'll let you guys know everything when I get out of my little bubble. But yeah, you have to establish that for yourself, for sure.
You do. And I'm working on, like I was telling you, I'm working on my daily routine. I mean, like my daily routines, my morning routine, my night routine, because it's just all over the place. I had started letting the day dictate to me what it was going to be like, instead of me getting up and saying, okay, we're not doing this another day. Like you sit on business, we getting up doing this. We get up this time. And that's still a struggle for me, the time.
Yes.
We'll go to sleep until late. But we getting up at this time. We're doing this, this, and this before we start work. Or we doing this, and this before we do the next thing. And so I am working on that. And it feels so much better. The night is a story, but the morning is easier to take charge of.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And you start in the mornings, and then you build a routine throughout the day until you reach the night. So
until you reach the night. So, and it's not about being selfish. It's about taking care of yourself so that you will have something to give.
Right. Oh yes. Oh my, everybody in my house knows Kiara comes first. And I used to put a little sign on my door before I started dating again. And my son saw that little sign. He knew not to knock on that door. He knew not to bother me. Mommy is recharging. But they know I come first in here, because if I don't take care of me, then how are you guys going to get the best version of me, especially as the only feminine energy in this house? Y'all better have me at my top, okay? Or y'all gonna be hungry in here, and stuff gonna start declining
quickly. Quickly.
Yeah.
So tell us about this journal, girl, and how we know how we got to this point, but tell us about it and how it changed your life.
Oh goodness, I am a lover and an advocate for journals. Always have been, but I was looking for something. At some point, I found myself on a bathroom floor contemplating life, and I would go on Amazon and I would look for something that supported me in that moment, and I could not find that. And so they either felt way too generic and had generic language, or they just didn't capture how I was feeling at the moment. And so I'm like, there are so many women who are probably experiencing these same feelings. So I went into my lover of art and lover of writing bag, because I've been writing since the second grade, and I probably have loved art since kindergarten. And so I'm like, it should be a journal. And it took me 5 months to create her. But once I was finished, I titled her Fuck Him. And it was the Fuck Him journal to help women heal from narcissistic abuse. And I would say maybe 2 or 3 weeks after putting her on the internet and telling people she's here, I had my first $10,000 weekend. And I knew at that point, girl, you're on to something. Like, you literally probably nailed this. And with me titling it Fuck Him, I actually was really scared, because I'm like, this is so raw. It might send people in the other direction. But I knew after I was in front of an apartment that we were sharing in Nashville, Tennessee, I was outside. It's 101 degrees at 7 o'clock at night. And I am sitting there contemplating everything that this man has done to me. And it's just all that flooded my mind. And when I was standing in that yard, I was like, you know what? Fuck him. I'm not worried about him anymore. I'm not going to focus on what he's doing. I don't care what he does and doesn't do. Girl, you're about to focus on yourself. And that is how that name was born. And baby, it has been up since then, okay? It has been up. I hired an artist. I knew I wanted her to stand out. So I hired a Black female artist in Atlanta to draw the middle finger. I didn't want to use just original clip art or anything. Shout out to OG Identity. That girl is amazing with them fingers, okay? So I put that artwork on the cover, titled it Fuck Him. And when I tell you, over 20,000 copies sold organically, no paid ads, no influencers. The women were waiting on me to create this product, and I had no idea.
Wow.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to see it. Let me see.
You know what? I might.
Hold on. Let me see.
I actually have some copies. I don't think So this was probably the fourth actual change. And so I teach my mentees all the time, put the work out there once you get to a great place, but don't be afraid to evolve over time if you need to. So this is probably the fourth time that I've changed it, but this is the one that sold the most copies. And so I wanted to make sure that I allowed women to understand it wasn't just a Black woman thing. It wasn't just a white woman thing. We are all women going through this. And so I wanted to capture that. And then also, I obviously was like, girl, I'm not leaving y'all hanging. I got F him part 2 and F him part 3, as we was talking about yesterday. I wanted to make sure they had a full healing experience. And by the end of it, you're no longer, A, you're no longer with that narcissist. B, you're no longer worried about the things that he was doing. And C, you're leveled up so much that you no longer find yourself in a relationship with a narcissistic individual again. When I tell you took the world by storm, I don't think anybody I don't think there was nobody going through the situation that I was going through that didn't know about this journal. I mean, it was everywhere. I couldn't even believe that it was flying like that. I was shipping 1,000 orders a week. It was everything that we needed as women, but also in the raw form, because a lot of times when we're trying to heal, you know how they're so soft, it's okay, and everything will be fine. Oh no, ma'am. I was like, fuck him, and put him the F out, and girl, get your shit together. And it was just what we needed as sisters to start taking our lives back and not letting these individuals, male or female, to be honest, if you're narcissistic, it could be a mother, it could be a father, whoever it was. I wanted to help us take our lives back. And I can't even believe, like, I thank God to this day of how many women I was able to reach, for sure.
Dang. Wow.
Yeah, it was everything. I honestly needed it as well. I needed to find other women who shared the same experience too, because when you're in these situations, you start to feel isolated, to be honest. You can't really tell anybody close to you because they don't see exactly what you're going through, right? They start to look at you like, girl, it can't be that bad. You're still over there. You need a community of women who know it's that bad. It's just hard to break away.
It is hard. It's very hard to break away. And people love to tell you, just leave. And
yeah,
it's just not always that easy.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
And so when they're sitting on the other side, I mean, we give advice like we ain't never been through nothing, first of all.
Right.
We judge like we ain't never done anything. Second of all, like it's really aggravating and frustrating that you get to a point in your life where you feel like you sit higher than other people, and then you could tell them without having the love and the compassion and say, just leave, or you shouldn't be doing that because you shouldn't be doing that. Like, give me the blueprint. Give me something to go off of. You're telling me to leave, but then what's the next step? And that's really a hard thing because people don't know the next step. Okay, once me and my kids, if you have children, once we leave, are you going to pay my bills? Are you going to help feed my child? Like, what am I supposed to do next? And that's what we fail to share with people when we want to be given advice of just leave.
You know what? And that is an amazing pathway to why this journal and other journals that I have created are so successful. It was so much deeper than me telling my story. You have to have a step-by-step process in order for someone else to experience similar results or the same results as you. In my case, I left the narcissist successfully. I ended up leveling up my life. I ended up doing much better than what I was doing while in the relationship or even before. So the reason why the journal was so powerful is because I included those steps by way of chapters, saying, hey, chapter 1, we're going to focus on you learning the narcissist. The second step, we're going to focus on you leaving the narcissist or staying away from the narcissist. The third step is going to be you forgetting or learning to forget about all the pain that they've caused. Because if you hold on to that, then it prevents you from doing the fourth step, which is actually bossing up and leveling up your life. So not only was I able to get online and share my story, but the journal is truly a framework that a woman can follow to going from being in this kind of relationship to actually freeing herself and bossing up. So I love that you said, what are the steps? You have to have some steps in order for it to truly liberate and transform the lives of other people and yourself. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, because, like I said, people just want to judge and sit on their high horse because they've stopped doing what they used to do, but none of us are perfect. So, we do have to live a life that's loving and compassionate toward other people and not just sitting saying you just need to leave. Because like you said, you went through that for 9 years, even though now you say, girl, is that bad? So someone would look at you and be like, but you're so beautiful and you're so smart. How did you manage to stay in something for 9 years that was unhealthy?
It happens.
It happens. And it happens all the time. That's why those books were flying off the shelves, because the very product that you put out was the very product that women needed.
Right. And it was just me showing you this is how you lead. I didn't want to just write a book because you can share your story and that's great. But I wanted to show women this is how you lead, because I don't want to get online and be like, girl, I left and my life is good now, and did it like, no, that would have been me sitting on that high horse, right? And I don't know what y'all problem is, because I got myself together. No, I literally wanted to reach back, reach down, and pull my girls back up where I was. And so that was why it was so important for me to figure out, like, girl, what did you, I had to look back on my life, like, well, how did you really navigate this? Because at some point, I literally was on a bathroom floor with the door closed. My back is to the door. And I am just sitting there like, I don't even want to go through this no more. The only thing that I can think of at the time to relieve me was not even being here. And I can hear this person walking on the other side. Go ahead and do it. Ain't nobody gonna miss you. Go ahead. Like, I literally had to sit back and say, Kiara, how did you get from there to where you are now? And that's how I came up with the steps of learning the narcissist, because that's the first part of being in the room with the psychiatrist. She pushed me to go learn about it, and I hadn't even heard of the term before her. And then you leave the narcissist or stay away from them, and then you forget about the pain, you heal, and then you go on and you handle your business. Because I don't know about you, but when I was younger, if I was getting broke up with at work, I don't want to work. I'm gonna go home. So
I go home and get in the bed, like I said, curled up in the fetal position, and I'm gonna be here for a few days. So just go ahead on that this first day is gonna be a second and a third, so follow behind.
Yeah. So I knew that I couldn't put level up as step one, because nobody can focus on that until they know what's going on with them, etc. So, like you said, those steps really made a difference.
Yeah, you have to have a blueprint these days. Like, we're pulled in so many different directions that's why coaching and consultants and journals and people, they're being so successful, because the rest of us is trying to navigate it. We need to be connected to someone who's already went through the steps and know that this is, how you're able to do it. Now it may look a little different. You have to adjust yours, because we're all different. Our journeys are different. Right. But yeah, you need somebody that's already been there, done that.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with a psychiatrist, a psychologist, a counselor, a coach, a pastor, all of those things, a mentor. It's okay to have that. And I think in this day and age, it definitely is more acceptable than it was prior to this generation. So absolutely. I'm happy that we're evolving into that, saying it's okay. It's okay to have someone that you talk to on a regular basis. It's okay if you need to take medication. Some people are like, don't take that medicine. Honey, if that medicine will get you up off that bathroom floor and get you back to living your life and taking care of your kids, nobody said it had to be a lifetime of taking medicine. But if that's what you need to get through right now, when you got a headache, you take a Tylenol in most cases.
Agreed. Yep.
But when it's mental, everybody want to spaz out. No, I can't take that. Like,
there's still a little stigma, especially in our community, but we are evolving. So that is such a beautiful thing to witness. Even my son, he's 16. He'll let me know if he needs to have a therapy session, or if he needs to take a walk with some vitamin D. Oh, honey, I already told him, listen, you're gonna be somebody's husband one day. And you can't come back and live on my sofa because your life ain't together. You're gonna learn this from now.
I gotta give a 16-year-old a shout out. Like, go, 16-year-old.
You gotta raise them right, honey.
You say you got to get out, and you cannot come back and get on my couch, because honey, when they come back, they be bringing more with them.
Oh my goodness. I also want him. We've all experienced what it's like to probably date someone who is not emotionally mature, and you're just looking for that. And so I wanted to make sure he had that, because a lot of times, sometimes men and women, we don't get that. So I wanted to make sure, like, you have to have that. You have to manage those emotions, and you have to govern yourself a certain way, so that when you are somebody's husband, I don't want her coming to me crying about, oh, your son doesn't communicate, etc. Like, I wanted to raise him early, but I heard nothing about mental health when I was his age. Nothing at all. Therapy, having a therapist, going to talk to somebody. We had the guidance counselor, but you always felt like you were in trouble back then when you had to go see the guidance counselor. So like you said, times are definitely different, and I'm giving him a head start. We gotta get this together now, because it is easier to mold a child than it is to change an adult. I ain't saying we can't change, but it's a lot easier to mold a kid. So that's what we're doing with him.
I love that. I love that. Girl, because listen, I went to the psychiatrist on Monday, and girl, that lady took my blood pressure, and she was like, you have talked about a whole lot of stuff in a short period of time that is very traumatizing. So she was like, we're gonna sit here and we're gonna wait and we're gonna just express, talk about something else, and see if your blood pressure come down. Well, it didn't come down, but just to hear her say it, I'm like, dang, maybe I overloaded her, because she was sitting there like, oh my God, girl, you have been through a lot.
Yeah.
Life that you just, told me about. But at this point in my life, I don't have time to wait to appointment number 15 to get to the meat.
Yeah.
Like, come on, let me just give it to you right here, the short version of it, but a bulk of it real quick. So you diagnose me or say whatever you got to say or do whatever you have to do in order to help me, like, navigate this time in my life. And that's what I'm working on. And I'm not.
You're ready to thrive.
I'm not ashamed to say it. Psychiatrist, psychologist, whatever they are.
It sounds like you're ready to thrive, and we all have to get to that space, because I think when we're in survival mode for so long, we get used to just talking about that, and we'll drag it out. Now you're saying, you know what? Let me lay this all the way out here, because I would love to be in a state where I'm headed towards thriving by next week, instead of having 15 sessions before I get to the thriving part. So I listen, I'm here for it.
Listen, well, thank you, girl. Thank you. I am definitely wanting to make an impact before I transition on the other side. And like I told y'all on my last live, my friend who passed away a few years ago, she tried to comfort me Monday night when I was sleeping in my dream. But I still have stuff to do. Thank you for the invite, but I'm gonna decline. And I exited that plane in that dream, and honey, I'm back. Like, and I'm ready to keep moving forward, doing what I need to do without fear, without guilt, without shame. And I'm thankful, and I'm so excited to be in this space, because I used to not be able to talk about it.
Yeah. And I told you yesterday, it was so beautiful to hear the power in which you speak. Like you're I don't know if you realize it, like I told you yesterday, you have that thing that people wish they had in the way that they share their stories. And I'm just listening. I'm like, she already got it. I don't even know if she knows it or not. She's ready to bring some people with her and liberate some women. And I'm like, I love that. I love to be in the space of other women who that's their goal. You want to bring other women with you. You don't want your pain, like you said, to be in vain. So I am like, just listen. I'm like, yes. Love
Speaking of that, other women, tell us about the community that you have.
Oh, goodness. So, yes. So I have something called the Paid Room. And so my framework and how I created this journal and how I create other products and help other women, the framework is called Paid, PAID. And so that is the framework to where you take your lived experiences and you turn them into scalable intellectual property, such as the journals that I've created. And so in that space, you get to come in, you get to share your story, but we work together through the framework, because as I was stating yesterday, the stories are powerful, but they're not transformational until you're able to pull certain insights, patterns, or perspectives from them, because that is what you're going to turn into a certain framework. And then that framework becomes a journal or a masterclass or something of the sorts, whatever it is that you want to do, write a book. And so I just help you go from storytelling by itself and just sharing your story by itself to how can we make that a product that you can sell and scale and help impact the lives of other people. So yeah, that's the paid room. It goes down in there, honey. It's about to get started this Monday. So I'm super excited. I'm so ready to hear the stories of everyone. I think we're about almost at 50 women right now. But I realized that if I jumped on live and I said, I've been in a relationship with a narcissist, this is what has happened to me for the last 9 years, that is going to allow my audience, whoever is listening, to react, right? Like, oh my God, I wish you didn't go through that, or I hate that you've experienced that, or I've experienced that too. Those are reactions. How you impact people is that you give them something to actually hold on to so that they can use it in order to navigate their own situations. Instead of just saying, I went through that too, now they can say, she has given me a pathway to get the end result that she has, versus just sitting in the fact that we both have been in a similar situation. And so that's what the paid room, and that is what my framework is all about. I want to ensure that we are not just sharing our story, but we're also sharing our perspectives and our insights that allow women to have great results, instead of just talking about the bad things that we've been through. So thank you for mentioning the pay room. It's about to go down from there.
Not just trauma bonding. We ain't trying to just trauma.
Oh, yes, exactly. I love that you said that. That's what it turns into, honestly. But the world has been telling us to share our story for so long, right? They just say, share your story, share your story. That's where the power is. I'm coming in and saying, no, ma'am, that is not where your power is. That may be where your power begins, but it can end if you don't learn how to pull unique insights. What are the lessons that you learned? What is your new perspective after going through that situation? That is where the power is, because now you are giving someone information to actually navigate their situation. I mean, if I hear certain stories, I'm going to cry. I'm emotional. I'm going to react. But is that going to allow me to activate? And activation is what gets people to transform and change and have different situations. So yeah, we're not trauma bonding anymore. We're not just storytelling. Girl, what did you learn? Let's talk about that. I want to talk about that.
Definitely. What you learned and how you navigated it, and how did you come out on the other side? Like, how did you become sunshine? Because that's what the lady asked me, like, when did you become sunshine? Because, I tell them my government name is Celena, but they call me Sunshine. So even the doctor's office, they all got my alternative name. Somebody told me it's my alter ego. But it's sunshine, because that is who I have become. That's who,
Yes.
I love the name Celena. It's been my name my whole life, but also you cannot say sunshine and not smile. Like when they come, they're like, sunshine.
Yeah.
And so it just makes me smile, because just strangers will say, sunshine, is that you? I was like, nobody's supposed to know me over here in Iowa yet, that they recognize me outside, but they, because I'm probably the only one, as short as I am, with this little afro sticking up on top of my head. So sometimes we stand out and we don't even know. Just like you said earlier, I don't even know if you recognize like the power in your story, and sometimes we don't. We really appreciate when people come back and tell us, your story is powerful, your story blessed me. I had this young lady, and I was so glad that I reached out to her, because she took the I Owe Her that she attended in Atlanta. She went back and did a version of it for her nieces and her family. And they called it I think muumuus and mimosas, or something like that. Mimosas and muumuus. They had on these African muumuus, and she said, I didn't post it because I was respecting everyone's privacy, and they had asked me, not to, but I'm sending it to you because I want you to know that the I Owe Her inspired me to do my own. I was like, girl, thank you so much for sharing. She said, I meant to send it to you. And I knew that at that moment, God had me reach out to her, because I needed that motivation to say, like, what you're doing, it is helping people. It is changing lives, and people are taking it because they have something to follow and go to create their own version of it. And so I was excited, girl. I was excited.
And that's exactly why it's so important for us to take that leap and walk into our purpose as well. Because I always tell my family and other people, when you unlock a yes for yourself, you're actually unlocking a yes for so many people and you have no idea. So we have to make sure that we say yes to ourselves. Yes, I'm going to do that thing. Yes, I'm going to follow what I believe God is telling me to do. Because when you do that, when you unlock your yes, now the people who are looking up to you or the people who may come across you, they can say yes. They now are being liberated in some form or fashion because you were obedient and you unlocked yours. So I love that. It's a trickle down effect.
It is.
Everybody
It
has.
is.
Yeah.
And when you see people come, like family members, I had this one, they were sisters, and baby, their trauma came from their mama.
Oh.
And that girl said, "Did you put mama?" And I was just like, "Oh my goodness gracious!" But you know, they were able to not just sit and trauma bond some more, but actually write down some things, get it off of them, and do it with other people who are experiencing similar things. You know what I mean? And then when you're in those settings, you can share. This is what I did, because that might resonate with you, and what you did might resonate with the next person sitting next to you, so that we can get in those rooms like your community. And share the things that we've gone through, but not just what we've gone through, but what we did to get out of it, what we did to get over it and beyond it. You know what I'm saying? And then thrive and prosper on the other side of it all.
Yep. 110%. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So I love this for us, girl.
We here. It is such a beautiful thing. I can't listen, man. Wow, God is so amazing. I mean, just absolutely. I give all honor and praises to God, because when I look back, I don't even feel like I have a question. Like, girl, it had to be God, because those situations used to be so heavy, and without prior experience, girl, how did you figure this out? How did you get out? How did you free yourself? When I tell you, I just thank God, but not only for him being beside me, but also granting me the courage, granting you the courage to actually step out and say, you know what? Although I'm learning and although I'm free from that, I want to now help other people get free. Because a lot of times we make it out of some stuff and we just sit back and be like, well, I'm out. I'm good. You know, I don't got to share this. And not to say that's wrong, because God doesn't position everybody to share their story. But I'm happy that we were chosen to sit back and say, you know what? I don't want to just free me. I want to free other women. I want to help other women navigate their journeys. Like, that's big. That's huge. So yeah, we here.
We are here. And you know, and this year, like when you spoke, I'm not going another year, like I'm not going into this year 10. That's how I want to be with what I'm dealing with. Like, I don't want to go another year where someone listens to me speak and they're like, she's holding back. Because I spoke at this church in, I think it was Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And I never forget, there was this line of men. The women were not able to make it. And I was like, you mean I got more men in this room than women? Because the men made it in, but the women didn't. Something happened either with the bus or the transportation or whatever.
Oh, wow.
So I'm in the room full of men, and most of my trauma is from a male, but not all of it. Okay. Yeah. So the one girl, she's like, now, Miss Sunshine, you see that those men lined up waiting to give you a hug, telling you thank you for sharing your story because it happened to me too. Wow. I said, I do. But also in that room, this lady was like, you're holding back. And it's because of the identity of some of the people that hurt me and abused me and traumatized me, that it's difficult to share it all. But I feel like that's where you are the most impactful in people's lives, when you are just raw and you tell it just like it is, and there's no holding back. Like you did, yeah, you was a little hesitant with the fu and the fingers and all, but that's raw. That's how you felt in that moment, and that's what you shared in that moment, and that's why it did what it did. When you're trying to hold back and protect people that don't even deserve protection, you're hurting yourself, because here you are, they didn't have a problem hurting you, but you are like hesitant. You are being zip-lipped at 53 years old. You're still in protective mode. I mean, that's the only way that I could think to kind of address it the best way now. But girl, this year it's got to be like, it's all or none. You either gonna go all the way in, or you might as well let somebody else have it that can stand 10 toes down in their truth. But you do have to be ready for it, because it's it's hard and it's deep, and it's like re-traumatizing, really.
Yes, that's why it took me 5 months to make the journal. I mean, I would have days where I would just be sitting there crying, because I'm trying my best to relive it so that I can create the most authentic product. But it took me 5 months, and I'm like, why is this taking so long, girl? You've been writing since the second grade, and you know what you're doing. But like you said, I was in a space where I was in protective mode. I knew that if I had released that journal, I would always think about, well, everybody knows who I've been dating. This wasn't a private relationship. We own companies together, so they would know automatically who I'm talking about. But like you said, once you decide I'm going to live fully in my truth, and when you see it, you just see it. It is what it is, because I know I'm telling the full truth and nothing but the truth. So whatever y'all gonna say is what y'all gonna say, but I can stand 10 toes down and say I'm telling the truth. Period.
Yeah, period.
And oh yeah. Once I made the decision, that was that. I mean, hey, he gonna have to deal with his consequences. Now people are learning a little bit more about you that they didn't know about you. But it's my truth. I get to share it, and I don't have to hide it, because I'm trying to protect your reputation. He lucky ain't dropped his full name. Okay.
Yeah, because for the rest of us, we don't know who it is. Like, there are going to be some people who know who you're talking about.
Right.
So many billions of people in this world, like most of us don't even know who he is, and at this point, don't even really care. Just want to make sure that their daughter don't get connected with,
Yes.
Like, my baby with that narcissist at all.
And I've met so many moms that would reach out and be like, I'm getting this for my daughter. I mean, I've seen daughters get the journal for their mom. I mean, I couldn't believe how many of us was going through it, but we all was like, you know what, right here, I need this. I at some point, I'm not even going to hold you. I had to literally stop answering my emails, because it was such a strong situation for me. And every day I would read the stories of other women, and because I knew exactly how they were feeling, it was a little heavy. To whom much is given, much is required. If you're going to share your story and you're going to invite people to share theirs, it can become heavy for you to endure that as well. So there were moments where I was like, ooh, I can't do it today. I'm going to have to reach back out in 2 days so I can kind of center myself. But to whom much is given, much is required. So you definitely have to be ready, like you said, to deal with what else is going to come with it. And there's a lot of other things that are going to come with it. Nothing horrible, no consequences for you doing what's right, but heavy nonetheless.
And for me, it does feel like consequences to a certain degree, because like I said, of the identity of these people that hurt me. Like, I don't know about your ex, but some of these people, they don't go down without swinging. It's like they come to retaliate, and it's like they tell their own version of it that's a lie, because I'm like, now this happened, but you can deny it all the way to your grave if you want to. But I know the Lord know, and that's all that matters to me. And that I'm taking this pain and using it the way that God intended me to use it for purpose and to change lives and bring awareness that hopefully that other children won't have to go through it, but that parents will also be aware of how to protect their children from pedophiles and people that target children and things like that. So it's a lot to wrap into it all.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like you said, to whom much is given, much is required. And that part is also heavy. I hear people's stories all the time because now when I give out these little wristbands and say conversations with Celena, people ask me like, well, what is that? So my short version is kind of like, it's a podcast, but this is how I got started, but why I continued. And the why that I continued was because I started to open up about the abuse. And so it's a great conversation starter,
Yeah.
And then you get it back and you're like, what? Oh my goodness. Like strangers are literally talking to me in an airport, in a grocery store, wherever we are, with people all around, but they're sharing like there's no one in the room but the two of us. And when I walk away from that situation, I'm like, thank you, God, because I know it ain't me, because I would be like, that's too much. I don't know. You ain't got to tell me all that. Like, I'm sharing my story to help you be free. But in that moment, they feel free enough and comfortable enough to share their stuff. And so it gets to be heavy. But on the flip side, not the people that I'm here to help, but the people that I'm exposing, I think that's where I feel like consequences are going to come, because you're going to have these people that's going to be like, you're lying, they didn't do that to you, or them coming for you, you're lying, or coming after you.
Yeah.
Child, you can't touch me. The weapons will form, but they ain't going to prosper.
Oh my God. I be saying that all the time. He eventually left me alone about it because he told me he was going to drag me to court and everything. But I think at some point, I would like to think, this is not the case for everybody, but I would like to think at some point, someone has a sit down with themselves and say, you know what? She is telling the truth. And the reason why I'm fighting her is because I don't want what I've been hiding about myself to be revealed. And they kind of just leave you alone. At least that's what I thought about him, right? But I do know a lot of people never have that, because ain't no way you about to expose me and think you finna get away with it as if they're the victim.
Right.
When you're dealing with truly narcissistic people, sometimes it'd be like, and I also think my ex realized, I can't break this woman. It doesn't really matter how much how much I threaten her, how much I've done this, how much I've done that. I mean, I think he came to the realization one day, this one right here can't be broken. So I might as well just give up trying. And I maybe that's where he was. I really don't know what was in his head, but at some point he stopped telling me I was lying and just kind of like, I don't know if it was just an acceptance or, let me just not say anything, because then a lot of people, this was in the homes of 20,000 women. Almost all 20,000 never even met the man. So, it's probably him just saying, you know what, I'm just going to just let it fall off. Or maybe he, got his next victim, so his attention is gone. I don't know. But you hope that people at some point say, this is the truth. Let me just stop. But it's probably unlikely. So I'm going to say my truth though.
Yeah, some of them just really, when you split, go share all kinds of lies about you and just be playing the victim. And you're just like, child, if you don't go sit down somewhere, and eventually they do just kind of fade off. And if they are telling it, you're not even in the same circle as them. So they can say whatever they want to say to whoever they want to say, because more than likely it's not even getting back to you, because we in two totally different spaces in our lives, and our group of people, like we're trying to do something and be something and grow, and you over here run around in the chicken coop, and we over here trying to soar with the eagle. No, we are soaring with the eagle. So you can see to run around in the chicken coop with the chicken heads and whoever else. I'm gonna be over here minding my business.
Yeah. So I would love to chat about, for the women that could be watching or will watch this, how do we help them in this moment take what they've endured and possibly make that a business? Because at some point, I think that not solely for the purpose of business, but there's impact and there's income, right? And I don't think there's anything wrong with ensuring that we have both. So how do we start the conversation of helping them have something that they can take away from this to give them a process? Because I don't want them to just sit on the pain, right? That I think majority of women are sitting on their pain and don't fully understand how this can turn into impacted income for them. So how do you suggest we navigate that conversation for them so that they can have something to do when they leave this space with us?
So I was gonna say this before you said that. So maybe it goes together. You tell me.
Okay.
It was something that you said, I believe yesterday. You may have touched on it today. But for me, it's the obedience. I do believe that we've all had things deposited in us of the how. With you, it was the journaling. All these years, it's been leading up to this. And you were obedient in that process. And some of us, and I'm going to speak for me, I'm going to say me.
Okay.
I started journaling. I don't have one of these books right here by me, but if I was to pass away today and somebody had to come clean up over here for me, and they open up these books, they're going to be like, this girl was all over the place. Because she's so into perfectionism, I guess. I'll start writing in one book and I write in it like 3 days. And I'm like, well, now it's no longer in order because I done stopped. So then I get a new book and we'll start this process all over again. Yeah. So nobody would even be able to put the books together to make one story for me.
Yeah.
And so, but if I was consistent, obedient and consistent with it, I would be able to get with someone like you, pull it together and say, listen, for the past 2 years, I've journaled every day, every night, every other day, once a week, whatever it was, but I was consistent with it. And now can you help me? So for me, I would have to go sit with myself and say, okay, what is it that I can do with what I have and try to make something out of it? Because I can't go back and journal for 2 years. But what I know now, in your community, in your paid community, what can I take what I have now, the knowledge that I have? Because girl, some of us feel like we got a PhD. Like it sounds like you got a PhD when it comes to narcissistic behavior. You got a PhD when it comes to journaling. Yeah. And so, you know, we have information. We do have things that we can bring. So it's going to be a conversation that I think each individual, they have to have with themselves and sit quietly, not with all the noise of other people and social media, but just go sit in their prayer closet and say, okay, God, I know you've given me things along the way. And in my disobedience, I didn't write it down. I didn't act on it, but I'm ready now. I have someone who's available to help me. So let me just sit and listen and try to come up with what I already have to be impactful, and have an income from it. So I definitely wanted to touch on that obedience part because it sounds like you were from way back when. And for the ones of us who haven't been, we definitely need to touch on how.
I think for me, before I can actually become obedient, I had to have a slight mindset shift. because since a little girl, I've endured a lot of trauma. And at some point, when you're enduring so much trauma, you start to normalize what that feels like this is just normal. I At some point I started thinking, I'm just supposed to be going through this is natural for you to endure sexual abuse. This is natural for you to endure physical abuse. This is natural for it to be treated a certain way by a man, because it was so common. And I would just sit in that. Okay, this happened to me. It is what it is. I went through a little healing process, and then I'm ready for the next phase of trauma. Before I can get to my space where I was obedient, I had to shift my mindset. You can absolutely make a decision to turn pain into purpose and into profits. And that was the three piece for me back then. I don't have to just go through this. I remember hearing something from a guy named Eric Thomas. He's a motivational speaker. I was listening to this man every day trying to shift. And one thing he said to me that I live by to this day: you already went through the pain, get a reward for it. And the reward for me at the time was, how many women can I impact? And then how can I turn this into a situation where I can break free financially as well? It was both of those things that were rewards for me. So I think most of us who endure so much pain have to make the shift of, you know what, I don't have to just take this. I can use this to fuel my purpose. I can use this to help other women. And I can also, it's totally okay for me to make income from this. And so that's how I got to, how do I help other women? You do that with the journal. The journal helps them get out of their situation, but you also make money from it. It was a win-win for me. But the moment I shifted my mindset and said, you know what? I don't have to just take this. I don't have to just sit on this. This doesn't have to just be something in my trauma bank. I can use this to not only fuel my life, but the life of other women and my bank accounts. And that was the shift for me. After that, it's a lot easier to be obedient, because you pray for discernment. You ask God, which way do I go? Like, how do I get this done? You're more likely to be obedient when you know this is an option for you. I'm making this decision. But before you get to that space, it's kind of like how you don't even know what you should be doing, because you're thinking this was just something you had to take. So for me, it was definitely mindset shift. And then I could walk into my obedience. And then in 14 months, I did over $500,000. That was the pathway for me, for sure. That mind had to change.
Well, I think you done already shared it then, girl. What we got to do to get started to help people walk away from this live understanding what the first and the second step would be.
Yeah, I would absolutely. We're getting started on Monday inside of the paid room, where I'm going to walk you through my framework: pattern recognition, defining your audience, turning it into intellectual property, and then finding a distribution method, which for me, it was journals. For you, it could be a book, a masterclass, etc. But that is the framework, and how you go from just, I got a story, I've been abused, I've been mistreated, to how can you make that impact. Those are the 4 steps. So we're going to get started again heavily on Monday. Any link somewhere has this community in which you guys can join. I want to help us get from a place of, like you said, I think you hit it on the nail, trauma bonding. It becomes a form of trauma bonding when all we want to do is share the pain. You don't have to just share your pain. And if you navigated that pain and you have some perspectives that a lot of people don't have, let me show you how to create impact and income from that, because that is a powerful thing. And that is absolutely a great thing to do. Listen, like he said, you already went through the pain. Get a reward for it. Get a reward for it. It's rewarding to help other women get through their pain. It's rewarding to turn that into income. I mean, I'm going to say this. This is one of the most powerful pieces that showcases the outcome of why you should do this. In June of 2023, I buried my sister. we buried my sister on June 10th of 2023. On June 11th, I came home to an eviction notice on my door. 3 days later, 4 days later, I had gotten fired from my job. And 3 days after that, I had my car repossessed. Okay. I lost everything in June in a matter of 10 days. The very next month, in July of 2023, I made $121,000 because I decided that I no longer wanted to sit on that pain and I was going to turn it into purpose and profits. I had already made my journal, and that journal allowed me to go from losing everything in June. Only one of those things I would want back, but I can't bring my sister back. But I ended up losing everything in June of 2023 to making $121,000 the very next month. It is important to not only share your story, but to absolutely find a way to share what you learned and figure out, how do I share what I've learned? Again, mine was a journal, but yours could be a masterclass, etc. But that was life-changing for me because I didn't want to just sit on my pain. That is what no longer sitting on your pain allows you to do. Multiple women were freed that month, but not only that, I made $121,000. My life has not been the same since. So again, I want you guys, if you want to figure out what is it that I can take from this story, because again, we all have similar stories. What can I take from this story that I can turn into intellectual property that can make me impact the income? That is what the room is for.
Yes, and I'm going to put this back up here. Tamaya said, identify, change, strategize, and monetize.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. That is a beautiful framework as well. Whichever one you need to get out of just the, I just been through, et cetera, you know, we gotta move into that direction, because also too, with the obedience, I firmly believe none of us are going through what we're going through for no reason. There is a group of women who can only be free by the sound of your voice.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't get into a space where you learn how to pull those insights uniquely, not just share your story, but pull your insights uniquely, and first of all, if you don't even be obedient, those women who can only be free when they hear your voice are never becoming free, because you're sitting there in your pain, not doing anything with it. Mm-hmm. I don't think God puts us in situations for no reason. But if we're not obedient and doing what we're supposed to do with it, and we're stuck in a place of woe is me, how can we free other women if we're not freeing ourselves?
That's right.
She had a beautiful framework. Absolutely.
Yes. And, you know, in our voices, yes, you know, we have a target audience, but I've encountered so many men that have also shared with me, like I said, those line of men, like, thank you for sharing, because it happened to me too, that our story is for people, men, women, children, professionals, you know, blue collar, unsheltered. It is for the masses. If you get up and you tell it, if you be obedient and do what you're supposed to do, you don't know whose lives that you are meant to impact.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I 110% agree. I tell people all the time that my audience, I prefer to work with women doing what I do. But every now and then I get a guy and he's like, oh, you know, I see you say for women, can I benefit from this too? Absolutely. Absolutely. This is just my audience, my preference. But if you are of the opposite sex and you would love to use one of my products, I'm not going to be like, women only. Absolutely. I just prefer, as a young woman who felt like I didn't really have another woman guiding me, and even from early circumstances, I didn't see, like, you had your mom and you had your grandmother, and they were, you learned certain things by how they lived, right? But I don't remember, quite frankly, having someone sit me down and actually guide me. Like, this is what you do. Like, the step by step. So I love working with women because I think oftentimes we lack someone just saying, let me hold your hand. This is how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be that woman for sure. Yeah.
I love it.
Go on and on, but I want to be like that big sister. I'm the oldest of 18 children, so I think I got it honestly anyway.
Wait,
But
wait. What? What did you say?
I'm the oldest of 18 children. My mom had 9 boys and 9 girls, no twins, all biological, pushed us out one by one, and I'm the oldest.
Girl, you had to repeat that. I was like, did she say 8 or 18?
18. Yeah.
And you're the oldest? You're a single baby yourself.
Yeah. My mother she'll be 54 this year.
Me too. Wait a minute. Me too, girl. These two that I got have me over here wide open and stressed out. I cannot imagine.
Oh, yeah.
18.
The youngest are 11 and 12, and they were born on the exact same day, just 1 year apart. So it's a crazy situation over here. But when you hear me talking like big sister, I literally have it embedded in my DNA. Like 18. Yes. I just sent my little sister. They was on the Fish Creek, and I'm at Waffle House. She's like, I want some Waffle House. I'm like, okay, girl, I'm gonna get you some Waffle House. I am the big sister to 16 siblings now because one is in heaven. But yeah. And those are my babies. Listen, that's why I have all the patience.
I see. Somebody say, go, mama. And Mama kindly say, your mother's womb is the
Oh,
best.
yeah. Oh my gosh. And she doesn't even look like she had 18. I mean, not a single stretch mark. Skin is just beautiful and glowing. She's gained a little weight over the years, but when I tell you, just a beautiful woman. I can't even believe this one over here. Homeboy walked 4 miles the other day to a friend's house that I never met. I'm over here like, and I just thought about my mom, like having 18 children that you have to keep from doing stuff like that. But yeah, she's a beautiful woman, and I am just like so lucky to have been in that situation. Absolutely a gift from God, Connie. But I think that's why also I have the personality that I have. I have so much patience and so much love. And also when people ask me about my drive, I'm always telling them I have so many siblings. I actually have about 26 nieces and nephews now. So I have so many reasons why I had to make sure I pivoted from that pain and I didn't just sit in it, because so many people are counting on me to break certain curses that my family holds. And I'm like, the devil done messed up when I came. I don't know about nobody else, but I'm ready. Nothing, oh gosh, I mean, nothing is able and has the ability to break me. I have literally looked it all in the face and said, what's next? This ain't gonna do it. You're gonna have to try harder than this. And I am just constantly I mean, if I would have started at 20, there's no even telling where I would be, but I had to. I think my last relationship, or why this journal was born, was like the theme that was like, you know what, nah, this is it for me. How can I start switching my circumstances? Because we all get that option, right? I love the fact that we do have free will from God. He guides us and he has certain destinies for us, but he also gives us the ability to choose. And every day I'd be like, what are we doing? I talk to my son every single week. We had the same conversation. You want to be average this week? Because if you don't want to be average this week, I'm going to need this behavior together, these grades together, what you going to do? And that's how we're just pushing and constantly going. But I don't even know if I would be this woman. And I used to hate it when I was younger. As soon as I turned 17, give me my own space, okay? But also when I look back, I don't even think I would be this woman that is so dedicated to growth and changing and breaking curses had I not been the oldest girl of so many children, the oldest period. But I think that's absolutely part of the reason why I'm the woman I am today. And I'm the only entrepreneur in the family. I'd be like, y'all better get yourself together. What y'all got going on?
What are y'all doing?
But yeah, it's all contributed to your story and the things that you've endured, my story and the things that I've endured, and everybody watching. It has all contributed to the women we are today.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's just about how can I grow even more? How can I step more into my authority? How can I be even more of a woman who advocates for other women? Like, that's the journey that I'm on right now. And I also tell people this is my legacy run. I have done, if God doesn't bless me with anything else, as a poor little Black girl from the projects who grew up in poverty, my first time going to jail was because I was stealing food from Winn-Dixie, trying to feed my family. If God doesn't give me anything else financially or in the way he's allowed me to impact women, I'll be fine. But now my legacy is about how can I help other women establish impact in their lives and also increase their income by way of pulling unique perspectives from the things that they've been through, not just sharing the story, but girl, what did you learn and how can we box that up in a container where other women can follow so that you can get that income and that impact that you dream about? Because we all dream about it, right? We all want to say we helped other people, and we look in our bank accounts and be like, okay, I'm a little comfortable. I don't got to stress today. You know, we all dream about that, but it was groundbreaking for me to be like, yes, I went through that toxic relationship for 9 years, but this is what I learned. This is exactly the steps to how I got through it, package it into a product, and then change the lives of women and seeing that income increase. I want to say I've done maybe $800,000 in sales since 2023. No job is going to allow me to do that, you know, and me just sharing my story won't do it either, to be honest, because we all got something. I just thank God, like, oh my gosh, we were talking yesterday, you know, I think, listen, I'm over here trying to live as soft as life as possible after enduring all that. But I think what makes me go to sleep at night is, man, I helped another woman today. I helped her break free and hit her next moment. I actually told my boyfriend and my friend about our call. I said, oh my God. And I told my brother too, when he called back, and I'm like, it's so amazing to be obedient. Because I told you yesterday, I barely even take calls. I probably take 10 calls a year from people who are outside of my family. And I said, it's so amazing to be obedient, because that call, you told me it shifted you, but I got off the phone call feeling shifted myself. And I'm like, oh, this is what, when we talked about obedience, this is what this feels like. This feels amazing. And so, you know, man, we could talk. Listen, you see how we talked yesterday, like we knew each other forever. We could talk forever and ever and ever, but I am just like, man, God is amazing. If I tell you half of the things I've been through, I'm not supposed to even be on this call with you right now. I'm
not supposed to be on this one with you.
Listen, but I thank God. I'm gonna say this publicly to you. I thank God that we were allowed to cross paths, because just as much as you left that call shifted, I left that call with a little more confirmation that obedience is the best thing that you can do when it comes to what you're supposed to be doing in life.
Right.
And that was like monumental for me, that I'll be able to carry throughout this entire year.
Wow.
Yeah. He sent
it definitely blessed me, and I'm excited about being in the group. And I have your website going across the bottom. That way I don't know the whole process of how to work with you and how to do certain things. So if you could share that on this call, of if someone needed that clarity and needed that help so that their life can be transformed, how does that happen?
So the Pink Anxiety Journal is actually, because I create journals for a living, that's actually my company where I created an anxiety journal to help other women with navigate anxiety. But you can find me on any social media platform at Kiara Lachey Bennett. So just my name here at Kiara Lachey Bennett. And there's links in bios that'll show where the paid room is and how you can get into that space. Again, we'll be starting on Monday. We're going to dive deep into that framework, but I look forward to meeting all of the women who know that they're sitting on not just story, but impact and income, and me guiding you, you allowing me to guide you to pulling that out of you in a way that helps you reach those income and impact goals. So at Kiara Lachey Bennett on all platforms, so you can find the links in the bios on any page.
All right. All right. And so Monday, we can go to one of those in order to sign up.
Oh, well, you can sign up now. The room is open now. But we'll just be getting started on Monday.
On Monday. Okay.
So yeah, we already have
Monday evening.
So no, you can go at any convenience because I'll start posting on Monday, and then there's a poll inside the group asking all the women, what day do you prefer is the best day for us to have our weekly sessions, because it's going to be a 4-week intensive that automatically happens. You're automatically a part of it when you're in the space. But we already have almost 50 women in the space now. So we're all just in there talking and chatting and being introduced to the framework and what each of us have going on. But we'll start on Monday, and then we'll collectively decide on a day that we're going to have our Zoom meetings every single week.
And that's for 4 weeks.
Yes, but you're going to be in that space forever, because at some point we're going to be talking about, once you go through the framework and you pull out the stuff and you turn it into intellectual property and create your journal or your masterclass, then we have a sector where we're talking about the revenue portion. How do you make income from this? Because it's one thing to create a product, but how do you sell it? How do you market it? How do you make sure that you find and present it to the right people, and that turns into income? So the impact is the first part of the framework, and after that, we focus on the income.
Okay. Sounds good to me, girl. I have thoroughly enjoyed this conversation with you. I mean, it just feels like we've been knowing each other for a long time, and it wasn't even like, let me look at this question, girl. It just went from one thing to the next to the next. I promise, I feel like I could keep on going, but to be respectful of your time, I know that you have other things, because you live in your soft girl life that you need to go get done this Saturday. I need to tell you, just go ahead on and mail me one of them journals. That's what I need to do.
I have, well, I was telling you, I don't even promote it as much anymore, because I'm in a new era where I was in such a crazy space when I created that. And I don't know if other people can relate, but once you kind of like, you learn, like you get the stuff that you need to get from it. It's still available to the public, but as far as my identity, like you were speaking before, I'm no longer in that identity. So I started to create other products that resonate with me more. I have another company called Hello Headspace. I'm waiting on the trademark to be finalized, but that is a brand that reaches all audiences, and that I'm looking to partner with different grocery stores and things of that nature to have those products in it. This is what I do for a living, but since I got, a good man, I don't be...
You don't need this anymore.
I don't want to say need it, but you
don't have to promote it because it doesn't align with who you are today.
And I think what I tell people too is that I am one of the greatest references to how well this product works. Not only did I learn the narcissist, not only did I leave the narcissist, not only did I let go of the pain, but I absolutely leveled up to the point where I no longer even attract those kind of men in my life. So it's not that I don't need it, but I am a great reference for this is the truth.
There you go. There you go. It just doesn't align with who you are and who your man is today.
It has done its job. So let me now introduce you to the woman that I was fighting to get all these years in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah. And we need that version as well, because that's what we're striving to do and become.
Yes, absolutely. I enjoyed this. I am honored. I want to do 100 podcasts this year, and you're my very first one. So that makes me feel super special.
Yes.
This will definitely go down as history, but I am grateful that you saw something in me that said, you know what, I want to have a conversation with Kiara in my audience. So I appreciate that so much. You have no idea what you've ignited in me during this conversation and the one yesterday. So I appreciate you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. And I tell you what, like, I'm looking at the future of the framework that I already have, just making it, revising it, and making it even better for the upcoming event that is going to be on my calendar for this year, next year, whatever, however it plays out.
Yeah.
And even if it evolves into something different, because every time you speak on it, you're like, it could be a masterclass, it could be a book, it could be a framework, it could be this. So you never know how it's going to turn out for you. It's all in the clarity, the obedience, the consistency. You know, you just have to show up. And like you're training your son, do you want to be average today? Because as long as you're average, your bank account probably going to be just as average if you're lucky.
Yeah.
But, you know,
yeah.
we do life-changing things, not only for us and our family, but for the people who we are assigned to.
Yes.
So, you know, so the blessings will continue to just fall on us, the generations to come behind us, because we were obedient. And that's probably the most important thing, because you don't know whose life right now today you have already touched and changed just by being obedient, showing up on this podcast.
Yes.
Just by me being obedient, showing up on this podcast. Because last year, everybody who know me know, girl, Sunshine always be saying, I think I'm just gonna not do this anymore. I need to shift and do something different. But the Lord has not shut the door over here. And I said, Lord, you know what? If it's meant, I will continue to do it and say yes. But if it's time for me to shift and do something else, I'm ready to do that too, you know. So wherever the Lord leads, that's where I want to go. That's where I want to be. And so we're still here by the grace of God. So thank you for gracing us with your beautiful presence, your strong voice, you know, your beautiful products, all of those things that you're sharing with the world. I mean, just your story alone, without the income part of it, is just amazing. But when you add that transformative part to it, and now how you've even evolved into a new version of yourself, season of your life, girl, that's even more encouraging, because you ain't overcome this part. You in a completely different season. Your soft girl era, where you got a cook and you got a maid and a chef and a
not the cook yet, but definitely
we do have the cook. We speak in that. We got the chef and we got the personal trainer and whatever else.
Yes. I love that. Go ahead. Let's go ahead and speak it on both ends and all ends that's watching.
Yes, all of the things. And you know what? If that's not what you desire, you speak what it is that you desire in your life. But I definitely desire those things.
Yes, ma'am.
And my supportive husband.
Oh, that. I'm so ready to get married. I don't tell him that, but listen, as soon as he asks, let's just go ahead and go down here today, okay?
Today. We ain't putting on a show for all these people. This is for us. We're going to do it today, because I don't want you to get cold feet, flutters, none of that. I don't want nobody come and try and talk you out of it. Do you really want to do it? The answer is yes, and we're doing it today. We can have a party later, but my yes is today.
Yes. I appreciate
you.
So
I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And please come back once you launch everything else. I know in 2 weeks, you're going to have new products that's going to be available. And so once you reach the 100, you know, or once you get to 50, you want to put me back in the rotation, girl, we are here.
Let's do it. Thank you so much. Thanks to everybody for watching. I enjoyed this, and I will see you guys hopefully in the paid room. But if not, I will see you guys on social media. I am always on. So thank you, Celena. You have a great day.
You too. And y'all, come back tonight, 7:00. I'll have another live 7:00 with I think Mari. He goes by Mari. So
Okay.
yes, y'all be back at 7 Central Time. Until
Yes.
then, keep it smiling.
Yes.
Oh, goodness gracious. Let's see. Hang on.